Hello, today we are going to talk about punctuation and spacing. In particular, we will talk about periods, commas, and parentheses. These ones, parentheses. There we go. All right. With periods, it is very important for English students to remember that a period is a small dot. It should go at the bottom of the line that you are writing on. It does not go in the middle, so imagine if this paper is the line, it should go at the bottom, not in the middle, at the bottom. And it should be next to the sentence that it finishes. So when we read left to right, there should be no space here, but it must have a space after. No space before, space after. Similarly, the comma works the same way. The comma should be on the line. So if this is our line, it should be on the line with the little tail under the line. It should not be in the middle or at the top. It should be at the bottom with the tail a little bit below the line. So imagine if our word is sitting on a line. We can see that it looks like a period with a small tail below the line. The comma should be touching the word, and it should not have a space here. So when we read left to right, there should be no space here. It must have a space here after the comma. No space before the comma, space after the comma. The last thing I want to talk about is parentheses and quotations. Quotations work the same way as parentheses. Parentheses and quotations, I like to say it's hugging the word. It should be close to the word. It's like a hug around the word. So there should be a space before the word or the sentence or the phrase. You can have more than one word. But there must be a space before the beginning of the parentheses. You put the word in the parentheses with no space here. You want it hugging. You want it close to the word or the words. And then you can put spaces between the words if there are more than one word. But on this side, there should be no space. There must be a space after the parentheses. So again, I like to say that it's hugging the word. It should be close to the word, and then the spaces are on the outside. The same thing happens with quotation marks when you use quotation marks. The quotation marks some people call them quotes, or some people call them quotations. They look like this, quotations. So they go around the thing that was said. There should be a space before and no space inside the first word. It should be touching the first word. If there is more than one word, of course you put spaces in, but the last word it should be touching. Possibly you might have a period and then the quotations, but there should be no space. Let's take a look at a few student examples of punctuation and spacing. All right, punctuation and spacing. So in this student example, if we look a little closer, let me zoom in, not that one, this one right here. Okay. So in this example, I'm still getting the hang of it. We can see the sentence, and we don't even need to read it because we are just looking at the punctuation. Here we see some commas and a period at the end of the sentence. Excellent. We also see an apostrophe, which is at the top. It looks like a comma, but it's at the top, not at the bottom. Great. You see how close this comma is with the space after? That's excellent. You see how close this period is with some space after? Excellent. Excellent, but let's take a look at this one. Is there a space before this? Well, not exactly. I happen to know that this student often puts a space before. He likes to put a space before and then comma and then a space, where the comma is in the middle between the two words. So I'm actually going to tell this student that I would like him to move it over just a little bit closer to make sure that we are practicing no space. I like how this one looks. This one looks like it has no space, and the period looks like it has no space. Let's take a look at another student example. In this student example, there are some other problems. This student missed a plural, some spelling problems, and a little bit of grammar problems. But right now, let's focus on our punctuation. We also see a capitalization problem right here, so I'm going to put capitalization problem. It should not be a capital letter. Okay, but let's look at our commas. We've got a comma right here, and we've got another comma over here. Does this have a space before the comma? Well, no. Does it have a space after the comma? Well, no. It looks like it's equal on both sides. Therefore, there is a problem. Either the student is missing a space after the comma, or if this student thinks that he has a space after the comma, he needs to make this space not there. He needs to take it out and make it closer to the word. So I think, from my viewpoint, I think we just need more space here. So I'm going to make a little note. Space. We need a space after the comma, not before the comma. Maybe I'll make that a little bit more pointy so we can see it's after. Not before the comma. The comma should be touching the word, but a space after the comma. What about this one? Well, this one almost looks like there's a space here. This doesn't quite look like a space here, but I almost think it looks like there's a space there. So again, I would probably tell this student either you need to make it closer to this word or you need to make this space bigger. In this case, I'm going to say no space before the comma. No space before the comma. But there should be a space after. And so I'm running out of room there, so I might just leave that. But usually I would write no space before, space after. So those are